In this video, I want to show you how one email made one of my coaching clients $45,000. He had zero ads, no big following, no sales calls, and we started his email list from scratch. Everything happened in just a couple of hours. See, I truly believe everyone's just overcomplicating email nowadays, and everyone wants to jump into email train. Everyone's telling you how you need to be sending emails, and everyone's just overcomplicating it. It doesn't have to be that way. And I truly feel after sending more than 20 million emails with workflows, automations, and everything from previous clients, I can tell you simple beats complexity all the time, especially with email. So I'm going to show you what we did, how he grew his email list, what we're going to do to make this even better, and some things you can implement starting today. So for this particular fitness offer, we start an email from scratch, like I said. Before we get into the details, these are a couple of different ways you can create an email list. And I'm sure there's more, but these are the top of mind that I've run before. Newsletter, which I honestly think a lot of people just do very wrong. They do very stupid things like join our newsletter so you can get updates. Nobody cares about your updates. You're not a big brand. Like nobody cares about your updates. So newsletters, I'm not a fan of those. Purchase activation, this is like if you buy this, you're going to be in our email list just because you bought this. Many people do this wrong as well. This is mostly for e-com. And even still, I would argue that purchase activation and newsletter are just like, nah, not the best way to grow your email list. Now, the two of my favorite ways of growing your email list are going to be lead magnet and FOMO, fear of missing out. If you have some sort of launch coming up or people really respect you in the industry and you can get away with saying things like, hey, this is something happening this date. If you don't, if you want details on this, then just put your email here. You can get away with that if you're somebody worth following. Now, this is important because you need to understand that in order for you to drive people to give you their email address, their name, even their phone number, for them, it's work. And for you, it's important because you want to keep people inside your ecosystem. And you always hear this when people say you want to own your leads. If you just have a big following and nothing else around it, then if your IG profile gets banned, you lose everything. So you want to have some sort of way of owning your lead, own your data. That's why I love doing lead magnets. I'm going to show you exactly how to do those correctly. Now, what we did for our client and how and why it's important and why you should care. We did lead magnet and a fear of missing out campaign. I built a sequence inspired by a book called Launch by Jeff Walker. Highly recommend you should go read it. And this built the list to start with. And I'll link the software that he used. Very simple. It's very cheap and anyone can use it. Again, I want to make this video so that you see how simple it is to start very simple email campaigns. And again, I think he has about 400 subscribers so far. And so far, he's made, $200 something thousand in like 45 days. So first and foremost, you have to have something people really care about. The big pitfall that I see here, the big mistake that I see here is people think, or founders think, that people care about what you have to offer. And they're so egocentric that they feel like anything they put out, people want. You don't need to think that way. Please don't think about it that way. What you need to think about it is like, what is something that I own intellectually that people really want from me that I can just give away for free? Obviously, if you own some sort of offer, you can't just give that away for free because one, it's going to be too much information. People are not going to care. There's not going to be any skin in the game. Secondly, you don't want to give everything away for free. You want to give a slice of the pie. Let me show you how that looks. I asked him, what's the one thing everyone asks you advice on consistently? If you own a fitness offer, maybe people are always asking you about, maybe you're a dude and you have, great delts and people are always asking you about your delt routine or whatever it is. Or maybe you're a girl and people are asking you about your glute routine or whatever. I don't know, or recipes or whatever it is. Give that away for free. And if you don't have an offer, which my client didn't, by the way, he had no offer, is we build the moat around it. Okay. So to keep things very simple, let's just say he was always being asked about nutrition for, losing fat. Let's just make this super simple. So rather than make the entire offer about losing fat, which by the way, would be a horrible offer because there's 1,000 different millions of fitness coaches doing the same thing. And losing fat is frankly very easy. Then we took that entry point to get more people into his ecosystem. We drafted out his entire offer. Let's just say, let's just keep this in brand. And since we're talking about nutrition, let's just say this is a pizza. We take his entire offer and his entire offer has different pieces of the pie, which make his offer, delicious. Okay. The offer has a bunch of different things. 1, 2, 3, you get the point, a bunch of different parts. The things that people are asking him more about, we're going to make that one piece of the offer and we're just going to give that away for free. Because chances are, if we fix that for people, we can make it so in a way, and we can engineer this in a way that having the solution, having this one solution, having this one piece of information will educate people in such a way that they understand that they need this, they need this, they need this, and they need all the other pieces of the puzzle. And we make that known in emails and in the lead magnet. That's where the FOMO comes into place. Because yes, you might know how to lose fat, but do you know how to build muscle? Do you know how to build a nice routine? Do you have somebody next to you with a decade of experience telling you how to do things? You don't have those things. You just have one piece of the puzzle. So through emails, through good copy, we just let people know, here's the thing for free. But by the way, if you're here, chances are you also want this, you also want this, you also want this, you also want this. Sometimes based on the level of consciousness, level of sophistication, a bunch of people don't know. So we just have to educate them, and that's completely fine. Let me show you how you can do this in like 10 minutes. So everyone was asking for this piece of information. Let's just say it's nutrition. So here's what we did, and here's a hack you can take and do it today. Okay, we gave that information away by transcribing videos he already had on the topic, put everything into ChatGPT, and we told ChatGPT, create a PDF based on all this information, frame it as a training. And the cool part is I built a GPT copywriting, like a master copywriting that all my clients have access to. And we put it through my copywriting GPT to make sure it gave away good information, but it also sold the next step, the next logical step, by telling people that they don't have everything they need to get to the desired result. They just have one piece of the puzzle, which by the way, they can implement, they can get results, but they're not going to get the entire array of results they could have if they have everything else, which is his offer. And that's why he crushed it. No sales calls, no ads, nothing. Literally a Stripe link. And he printed so much cash because he was able to use something that I call subconscious engineering to make people just say, I need whatever this guy is selling. Here's where a lot of people just overcomplicate themselves and they feel like they need the prettiest landing page. Guys, we used a software that's, I think, $19. I'll link it down below. It's super easy to use. We hosted it on the landing page. Give me your name, give me your email, click here, I'll send you the thing. And we sent it. We launched the email flow. So again, like I said above, I created the skeleton was from the launch sequence, I think it's called, from Jeff Walker. And I obviously, I have a ton of experience creating emails for other clients. Despite English not being my second language, I've helped companies make more than 10 million literally just from copywriting. And I did an iteration of the launch sequence formula. I added a couple bit of my magic and it crushed. We sent a Stripe link. He collected cash via Stripe link. It's a $6,000 package. I mean, we created different Stripe packages. If people needed a payment plan, we did a payment plan, but we increased the total pay and printed money, man. Printed money, and a lot of people are getting a lot of help because we knew how to sell. And by the way, like I said, if I wasn't clear, the offer wasn't finished. In the emails, we literally said, you're paying for something that's not done yet, so you're just paying for your spot in the thing. Once we open it, you're gonna get access. Even still, the power of creating this email, I'm gonna run you through it in a little bit, will help you make a lot of money. Will help you make sure people are buying into what you have to offer. And now you might be thinking, this is all nice, this is all pretty. And yes, it is. It's super nice. We're crushing it. But there's a lot of room for improvement based on the first test that we run. And these are the mistakes that we made along the way and things for improving. There's the one specific email that made him, I think it's more than 45K to be honest, which is a bottom of funnel email. I'm going to explain to you how that runs. I'm going to explain to you how you can do it better than I did so you can collect more cash and help more people. So a couple things, we need to improve our persuasive copy. We were rushing to put this in the market. Well, it's not a good idea to rush things, but we went a little bit soft on our persuasive copy. So in order to, make changes, I've massively improved our copywriting GPT that I gave my clients and built an entire new segment on email copy, using trigger words, psychological hacking, belief engineering, all inside my mentorship, plus my one-on-one help I give all of my clients so we can move faster and better. And the cool thing about this is that now that this works and it's validated, I have clients who are also, in the Spanish market. And now we're also doing the same thing in the Spanish market, which is freaking incredible. Second thing is we're not using HTML editors, and that's going to run across my entire mentorship to make it look super boring and bland, meaning it doesn't even have a white background, but also not making them super pretty. So we're going to make sure all emails that we sent out have a white background because a lot of people have their iPhones on dark mode or whatever. And if you don't put a white background, it's going to be hard to read. So white background, black text, high contrast, but we're not going to overcomplicate things and make it super pretty. We're going to have more nurture and less bottom of funnel. We want to cash quick, which we did, collected, a couple $100,000, which is awesome. However, now we need to implement a more evergreen nurturing sequence, which is just more case studies, more testimonials, more value up front so we can nurture people. Because right now what happened is we basically took all of the low-hanging fruit and we just cashed that out, which is great. But now we just need a more evergreen process. We're going to create different sales assets. So now we created this one asset. We're going to create another one and another one and another one. And the big meta move here is we're going to take one sequence or one piece of the puzzle and we're going to split it into different parts. Okay. So for example, the nutrition part, we're going to say things about, what are the best high protein meals to eat, breakfast or something like that, just to get people in the ecosystem. It doesn't really matter what we're giving away as far as it's as long as if it's something that people really believe that they need in order to move forward in their journey. The other meta move is we're going to create different sales assets depending on their level of consciousness, meaning are they problem aware, solution aware, etc., etc. The more sales assets you create, once you already have the entire email sequence that we built for this client already, once you already have the email sequence already built out, which is the long and hard part, we just create different mechanisms to bring people into the funnel. This is literally the funnel. So we create different sales assets here, one asset here, one asset here, one asset here, bunch of different assets, because essentially all you have to do is make sure you track the metrics inside of this sequence to just make it convert better. That's a whole different video. So creating different sales assets, see which one works better, see which one doesn't work, and just keep pushing it. We're going to keep feeding the algorithm. What this means is we're going to test, like I said, we're going to test and learn with different ICA pains in content. We're going to get signals. Based on those signals, we create more PDF assets or video assets, whatever, depending on what people like to consume. We just push that out. We get people in our ecosystem, and we just keep the email sequence going. Then we create lead magnets from this, repeat the process, easy. Now, I know I said more nurture, less bottom of funnel, but the bottom of funnel emails that we have, we're going to make them so much better. So let's briefly talk about how to write proper social proof emails, testimonial emails, case study emails, etc., and offer insight on the type of bottom of funnel emails that I'm creating for my clients and how they're able to create, powerful emails that allow them to get a lot of cash. First and foremost, every email is a sale that needs to happen. So one thing that I tell my clients is that every email, 3 different micro sales. The first micro sale is the subject line. The subject line is the first sale that needs to happen in order for a client to say, yes, I want to open this. So subject line. And then after the subject line, we have the body of the email. That's the second sale. What happens is what you're selling in the body is the persuasiveness of the copy. So people need to read the entire thing to see what the outcome is, to see what the problem is that you're solving. That's the second sale. The third sale is whatever it is that you need to make happen in that sale. The third sale is the CTA. Now, I always encourage my clients to have some sort of links to click in your email because open rates are harder to track now with iOS, privacy issues, etc. Open rates are harder to calculate. Most email service providers out there now are just calculating rather than telling you specifically how many people are opening. But clicks you can measure. So first sale, subject line, second sale is the body, third sale is the CTA. They all work in conjunction. One cannot happen without the other. So keep that clear. The other thing is, in the reader's mind, we have to make them realize that there is a pain that they have. There's a change that needs to happen, and they need to agree that they have this pain, and they also need to agree that they need to make a change in order to make their life better. Remind them the old ways, this is especially true in testimonials and case studies. Remind them that the old ways of doing things don't work, but the best way is your methodology as a business owner, and then you offer your solution as the next logical step. Okay, so the subject line would be whatever it is that's happening in their mind right now that they're seeking a solution for. You want to make sure that gets translated in the subject line. The body is not me. It's about how you can get the same result that this other person got. You basically you push the results to that person because that person used your methodology. You're not selling yourself. You're selling the methodology. You're telling somebody you need to make change happen because if you don't make a change happen, some change happen, you're gonna keep living this nightmare life that you're living in right now. And in fact, there's this similar person that was living the same thing that you had because they had the same pain. And this person used these 4 steps. This is not your solution yet. Chill. These 4 steps in this methodology. And once they completed these 4 steps, they got this result that is the same result that you want. If you want to learn more about methodology, click here, whatever it is. That's how we create really solid bottom of funnel emails that convert like crazy. There's more stuff I really want to show you about emails. Emails is just one piece of the puzzle. But if you want to learn more about how you can make better converting assets, how you can collect more cash with your coaching offer, you can have just a better business overall, I'll link some resources down below in the description that you can just click, explore, and hopefully I'll see you in the future so I can help you make sure that you're crushing it with your coaching business. For now, I'll see you in the next one.